Good morning, everybody. Welcome. The Christmas trees have arrived. Right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this week's meeting of Essex Business Forum. I am your chairman, and it's my job to take you through the meeting. I'm, as always, assisted by the leadership team. Those present, please be standing. Introduce yourselves, please.
Good morning, Brian, Social Secretary. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Scott. No, I haven't lost my glasses. Well, I have lost them. Temporarily misplaced. So that's why I look on this morning. I am your meeting secretary. A handsome face off live chat, thank you. Looking after Performance League numbers and other things.
Morning guys, I'm Ben, Education Coordinator. That's
I'm Vincent. That's speaking out for. I run the membership committee. Well, thank God as well.
Did your mother tell you not to speak with her mouth?
Any
She chose to treat your crusts.
He speaks with his mouth full. Thank you, leadership team. Right.
Why there's no members.
Right, okay, let's get going. And we get going as always with the Performance League. Scott.
Okay, right. Well, Performance League, 3 weeks recorded so far for November. Oh, it's close to the top. Kind of, anyway. So there's a joint 4th place, 120 points, which is Aidan and Neil. Joint 3rd place, 121 points, is Terry and Tony. 2nd place, standing on his own, 122 points, is me. And then in the lead on 290.
Oh,
Wow. Ahead is Matt. So I think unreachable. It's a bit like Formula 1, we'll all fight for 2nd place.
right. So Matt is our Red Bull. Well done, Matt. Right, the education presentation.
Well, good morning everybody, and what I thought I'd talk about today is something that might help you to get and give more referrals in the form of listening. So, does anyone know the difference between listening and hearing? So, oh, very good, because hearing is very physical. It's something that we just do with our ears naturally, but however, listening is something that's very mental, and it involves understanding and digesting what we've just heard. So how can we use our ears and our brains to listen to try and help to get more referrals and to give more referrals? So how can we listen more during the meeting? So when people are doing their 60 seconds, why not a lot of people do, take notes on what people are actually looking for, what they're, who they want to be connected with. Repeat your notes, don't just swap them up and put them away and sort of never be read again. Sort of refresh your memory and follow up with that person after the meeting. Now, the best time that you can really listen to people is during the one-to-ones. So how can you become a better listener during one-to-one? Now, one thing that you can try and do is maybe show that you're interested and really sort of take note of what people are saying. So don't think about your responses while the other person's talking. Let them finish before you actually respond. So show your understanding by the nods, be like, what's his name, Churchill, doing the nodding dog, and agreeing with that person, and using the gestures and things. And don't interrupt. if somebody else is talking, don't jump in to let them say, oh yes, well I do this.
I do that sometimes.
Now, would you mind just giving them a slap? Thank you. But responding to other people's questions, but like when they say something, follow up with a follow-up question. So in conclusion, most of us are good listeners some of the time. So let's make a conscious decision to try and get better listeners, especially during the 60-second round and the 10-minute presentation, so we can do our best to find those referrals for everybody, because by listening more is going to create more opportunities and build up that know, like and trust stronger, because people buy from people. But always remember, you've got 2 of these and 1 of these for a reason. Thank you for listening.
Thanks very much. I didn't look at what you were pointing to when you said about
2 of these, 1 of these. Don't go there.
Okay, let's move on. In Terry's absence, I don't have to ask you whether there are any membership matters to refer to, and there won't be anyway. So that moves us on, I think, inevitably to the 60-second round. Your chance to listen. I'm going to pass around, as usual, the business card box. Check it. Make sure your representative take cards that you might need to help with introductions. Right, the Oscar. Who won the Oscar?
Give to me, Lord.
Pass said item to Mr. Painter. Round 1, he will be judging at the end of the 60-second round. He will go first, but before he does, Vincent, now with his mouth completely clear, is ready to use the bell, for which I think he uses his finger rather than go on, have a go. After 50 seconds and after 60, that reminds you, if you haven't got there already, to wind up and sit down. Right, I think we need to do no more than get underway. Brian will go first, and he'll be followed by Toby.
Good morning, everybody. I'm a patient therapist, pilgrim hypnotherapy. But he killed a man whilst he was driving his car. He'd had just smoked cannabis. He smashed up the flat that he shared with his girlfriend when he found out she was a prosie. He hit a policeman. He went to jail, and whilst he was in jail, he tried to commit suicide. So he was sectioned for 2 years. He's absolutely wrapped with guilt and has post-traumatic stress disorder. He's 30 years old, he's a stuntman. He drives motorbikes and cars up ramps and leaps over vehicles, hoping that he's going to land safely on the other side. You might not have much sympathy with a person like that, but having spoken to him for 2 hours, I genuinely think he's a decent guy there, beneath all that. He's come to me for help, and I'm seeing him this afternoon. That's Brian, a good therapist, pilgrim hypnotherapy, help the stress to phone call away. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Toby, you're next, and you're followed by
Toby Exon, personal businessman, yeah, one of them. As I was saying, I help business owners become wealthy fast to get them from where they are to where they want to be. Just to give you an idea of some of the people that I tend to work with, that I like to work with, they want to know what to do to make more money. They want to know how to grow and scale their business. They want to know how to become well known in their niche or their sector. They want to feel confident and certain and on purpose and have focus and direction. They want to have a clear milestone plan for building a better business. They want to experience abundance and wealth and a better work-life balance. They want to know that there's a solution to all their problems. They dream of a solid financial future and whether they're enjoying what they do. And they understand that in order to do that, and this is the important thing, that they have to be open-minded and willing to make some changes. So if you know anyone like that, perhaps it's even you, please do put me in touch with them. Toby Exon, Pole Position Business Solutions, driving your business forward, keeping it on track and putting you in a winning position.
Excellent. Thank you, Toby. Mike Skinner is followed by Clara.
Morning everyone, Michael Black Multimedia. Again, I'm still fairly busy for December, but I'm predominantly looking out for evening gigs, weekend gigs, little things to fill in gaps in the diary. A lot of that's Christmas corporate events that I'm pushing for at the moment. Next week, or a week and a half, I'm down at the Kensington Hilton for a care and mental health group. And we're going to be taking photos of all the guests as they turn up and put the front of the backboard, taking photos of the speakers and the guest speakers during the evening, and then getting photos of the dancing and entertainment going on later on. So yeah, I'm looking for that sort of gig from the corporate sector for Christmas. If anyone can, we can offer a really quick turnaround. I think we're doing about 2 days for that one, so you can get it online, and it's nice and quick and easy for me to organise and prep for. It's Michael Black Multimedia. Thank you.
Mike, Clara, Mike.
Clara down to Mortgage and Financial Services. You get the pleasure of having the presentation in a bit, but a lot of people have asked me this morning whether there was any sort of big things in the autumn statement. Not massively from a sort of mortgages side of things, but I'm hoping it will give people a little bit more confidence. So I think there could be some positives still to it. Interest rates are continuing to creep down a little bit, which again is giving people a little bit more confidence. So hopefully we're going to run up to a very happy Christmas. So that's me, Clara down to Mortgages, and you'll learn a bit more about me in a bit.
Matt, you're next, and you are followed by...
Good morning everyone, Matt Parry from Blue Seraph. We've had lots of new business meetings, strategy workshops over the last couple of weeks, which has been really exciting. Hopefully lots of projects for the new year. But one thing that we do that I know I've not spoken enough about is the social media side of things. We have a brilliant social media expert in-house and content expert, and we support not only existing clients with their social media in terms of helping manage it, but also providing advice and even training sessions, whether it's a particular platform you want to learn about more, or even if you're looking for an audit based on maybe your LinkedIn profile and how your colleagues and employees are using LinkedIn. All those things. So from a social media expert and advice to how your brand can be represented better on social media, any of those, please come to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Matt. Ben, you're followed by Jim.
Thank you very much. Good morning guys, Ben Golding from Utility Warehouse, and I help people to save money in their essential household bills, but also show them how they can earn an extra income. Now, I read in The Guardian earlier this week that people that are long-term sick or disabled are now going to be forced back to work from home because all their benefits are stopping next year. Now, this is shocking for people because they're going to be forced into a job that they might not be well enough to do. However, I can really help them because I can show them a flexible way of working and a more nicer environment to be able to work from home. So this week I'm looking for people you know that may be long-term sick or disabled, that want to have that extra income coming in their own spare time. They're helping their friends and family to save money with the UK's cheapest, the UK's most trusted, and the UK's most recommended utility company. Ben Golding, Utility Warehouse.
Ben, James, you're next, and you're followed by Nick.
Morning all, James from RMK Insurance. Today I'm on the hunt for wheels, so motor traders, because that's your one-man bands or your big garages, mechanics or car sales. We're doing pretty well on both of those at the moment. When I'm talking about wheels, anybody that's got any kind of business that's got 3 vehicles or more as part of that business. We can put them under a fleet policy and save them money, give them wider cover. It works out much better. A lot of people still have these vehicles insured separately for some bizarre reason. In addition to that, a warning on your own policies as much as anything else. A lot of insurers over the last 12 months have reworked their flood mapping. So a policy that you might have had last year, this can be household insurance or business insurance, where you had flood policy, flood cover last year, you may not, and they may not make it clear that you haven't. It would just be an endorsement. If they still give you flood cover, you might have a £5,000, £10,000, £15,000 excess on it, which you didn't last year. They should make it clear. Don't make it clear enough to get by. So check, make sure. Any questions, you know where I am. James, RMK Insurance.
Sorry, thanks, James. Well done. Nick. Next week's followed by Melissa.
Good morning. As you know, my name's Nick. I'm a structural engineer, but as I haven't been here for about 3 or 4 weeks, I'll remind you what I do for a minute. One of my core activities is carrying out structural inspections for people who are buying property. I also prepare designs for people who want to alter their houses in some way. If they're building an extension, for example, they will need foundations, they'll need a steel beam over the opening that they'll go through to get into the extension. If they're building a loft conversion, they'll need an awful lot of steel work, probably, and they'll need new joists because they're designed for supporting suitcases and things, not for people having parties. Sometimes it may be a simple job of just taking a supporting wall down, in which case they'll need a beam over the opening. That's what I do. That's what I do. That's how I help my clients. My name's Nick. I'm a structural engineer.
Thank you, Nick. Melissa, you're followed by Vincent.
Good morning everyone, Mr Jackson, Cameron Francis, licensed insolvency practitioner. As you know, I deal with a lot of companies that are going into insolvency and closing down, but one thing that is, has remained the same throughout my career is that, generally once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur, people that generally have a business go on to continue to have a new business even after their old business is closed down. So a lot of people may be concerned about how they can continue to have a new business once the old business is closed down and gone through a process. But they need to come to somebody like me and talk about how they deal with that effectively. They can purchase the assets, they can continue to purchase the stock, they may be able to take on the employee contracts, they may be able to get rid of the things that they don't want and keep the things that they do so that they can continue with the business. So this week I'm looking for anyone who may be in trouble, needs to close down their old business but wants to continue to trade. That's Mr Jackson, Cameron Francis, assisting companies and individuals.
Melissa, Vincent, you're followed by Blake.
Morning everyone, Vincent from Speedprint. We produced this Foamex board for one of Blake's clients. So I printed it upside down, but I'll show you this way instead. Drilled holes, matte laminated, protective finish, very nice. Foam board, Foamex I should say, is very versatile. I'm not going to tell you all the reasons why, it's just that I like saying versatile. And it comes in different thicknesses as well. It comes in 1mm thick. These are for old people's homes, so they know where the shower is, and also they know where the bathroom is. So we do quite a lot of those as well. But also it comes in 10mm as well. 10mm. Ladies, check out those legs. Look at that. I'm very proud of that. Look at the legs. Look at the legs. The legs. Yeah. So.
The reaction can be more.
I'm doing well mixed version. I do like that shot. Those legs.
Yeah. Show us again.
Sorry, yeah.
Legs. Good legs.
You getting that, Brian? What's the time? Hold on.
Don't thank you.
You're in time.
Thank you, Vincent.
It's actually
Some of us spend 60 seconds, Brian.
turn up and shoot.
Right, next up is Blake. Hopefully you won't show us a photograph. And Stuart. Stuart will follow.
Not legs. Morning everyone, Blake from Hammerheim. I am not going to make 60 seconds because my throat hurts.
Buy a hoodie.
Stuart is a good one for that. Because he was cold on the rugby pitch on Sunday and he told me he was. So, my hoodie is going to be warm. Yeah, Christmas is coming. Buy gift cards, buy hoodies, buy outdoor gear. Everyone needs a hoodie. Stuart knows. So, keep buying gift cards and I'm sitting down for my friends. Thank you.
It took about 60 seconds to do that, wasn't it? Stuart, you're followed by Leanne.
Good morning everybody, Stuart from LG Networks. The internet, eh? Where would we be without the internet? But seriously, where would we be without the internet? It's a question business owners need to ask themselves. We rely on it for everything, our email, our CRM, our accounts software, communicating with our customers, communicating internally. It's extremely important. What is the consequence of a business being without their internet connection for 3 or 4 days, maybe? That's quite normal, that wouldn't be unreasonable. what's the consequence of them being without it for a week or so? That can happen too. Depending on how can you protect against that? Depending on the type of service you have, you can reduce the risk of that happening in the first place. The other thing that you can do is actually put in a second service to act as resilience for the first. In the event of something happening to your primary circuit, we can back that up with maybe a 4G signal or a wireless signal or satellite internet. There are all sorts of different options. So if you know businesses that absolutely rely on their internet, they need to have a secondary option, please put in touch with me, Stuart at LG Networks. Thank you.
Thanks, Stuart. Leanne, you're followed by Scott.
Good morning everyone, Leanne of Brentwood Interiors, and as you know I like making homes beautiful for everybody. So this week I had a bit of a clear out of the garage, been told off by my husband, so I put some Christmas decorations in. So I just wondered if anyone would like them. There's reindeer tea lights, they're £5. We have some snowflake Christmas tree decorations, they are £4. And then we have yourself a Merry Christmas, and that's £2.50. So hopefully, if you like those, they'll make your home look beautiful. That's Leanne of Brentwood Interiors.
Thank you, Leanne. Scott, you're followed by
Good morning, Dr. Scott. One of the things I've been doing this week, I've been asked to create a website owner's manual, operator's manual. When it's just you looking after a website on your own, the way you do things is pretty straightforward and easy because it's just you. You know where things are stored, you know your naming convention and how things happen when you put them on site. Once you get a team involved, as your website starts to evolve, and you've got an SEO guy, a website technical guy, and a content manager, an SEO, a social media person, things become difficult and disorganised and chaotic and inefficient if you don't all follow a set of rules. So if you know anybody that would benefit from having just an online document that will evolve and grow, just outlining the way things get done with your online presence, it can really just make sense, just help you to get a bit of a plan. It's not a complicated document, but I would suggest that if you are part of the team responsible for our website, you should have a think about getting one of those. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Looking forward to his weekly massage will be Paul Booth because it's Howard Paul.
Morning everyone. A friend of mine called me 3 days ago. I used to work with him when I was in the city, and he's been living in France for the past 10 years. And he wants to take some money out of his pension to pay for his daughter's university fees. The pension's with Phoenix, and he wants to take it out in a certain way. Phoenix said to him, because you're living in France, you can't take it out in the way you want to take it, you've got to cash the whole thing in. And that will result in a tax bill of about £25,000, which he'd obviously rather enjoy. So he called me last week, and I thought that doesn't sound right. My hunch was correct. Phoenix was telling him absolute rubbish. He can access the money the same way anyone else can. It's just he can't do it from that product. So what we've got to do is lift that product out of Phoenix, put it somewhere else. You can just take out the bit he wants, leave the rest there for when he wants it later on in retirement. So beware of what the experts tell you, beware of who those experts are, and get someone to speak to someone like me to get the right information.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Tina is next. She followed by me, and I followed by
I've got some cherry fruit. It's got a wrapper though, so you're all right. Good morning everybody, my name's Tina, I come from Full Liberty Executive Services. Although I help you in your business, I help you with cough sweets. So I've got some in my bag. Yeah, it's coming up to the C word, and I'm looking for anybody that needs any help in organising an event for their staff or just taking their staff out to a restaurant, but they haven't got a clue, they haven't got the time, and they don't want to get them because they want them to do the work. So I'm here to help them. So if you know anybody that needs any help, please pass my details. That's me, Tina, Liberty Executive Services, and I'm 95, I'm staff.
Can you actually take them out so I don't have to
Amy Squire from the TO Law. For the first time in a long time, I've had a commercial lease transaction go off. We had two issues. Landlords wouldn't issue an asbestos report, or indeed warrant that there was no asbestos in the building. They wouldn't confirm the use class. They'd recently converted it from a meeting room into an office, and they wouldn't confirm what it was. And the chances are it would have needed planning permission, but they wouldn't confirm, and they wouldn't confirm whether they had inquired even about the change of use when they did the work. It's the sort of disingenuity that you expect perhaps from a property developer. In fact, this site was owned by a load of monks. The client is now looking for a new set of premises and hopes to come up against a friendly and at least honest to goodness property developer. Often it's best to give advice that's negative for the best interest of the client. I say this right from TM Law. And Paul, you're next, followed by Jay.
Yeah. Morning, Paul Booth, I'm Booth, co-chair of accountants based in Brentwood. Yesterday's autumn statement, the Chancellor announced the biggest biggest cut in business tax in modern history. It's to do with full expensing. Well, what does that mean? So they gave an example: if you spend £1,000 on equipment, you'll get £250 back. Not really true, okay? Not really true. At the moment, there's something called capital allowances, so you're allowed to claim capital allowances on equipment, plant, machinery. That's always been the case. You can get up to £250 back from corporation tax through reduction in profits. The new announcement is to do with really big businesses, companies that spend millions and millions of pounds each year. If they spend £1 million, that's all they can get. 25% back. So ignore it. That's the big phrase. Anyone got any sort of advice on the budget, or please let me know. We'll come in on tax.
It sounded like you're looking for advice.
Yes.
In that case, a question before Jane, excuse me, Jane, I'm sorry. If I want to buy some new computer equipment,
Yep.
and I do it through my company, will I get that?
You will get corporation tax relief on that, yes. No change from what has been for a long, long time.
Right. Sure, that is my
That's all right.
I don't want to, but I just. Jane, you're off and running.
Thank you. Now stop, because we're drinking our tea all wrong. I don't mean that.
Yeah.
But tea is meant to be a bit more like wine tasting. We're meant to change the tea we have according to what we're eating and the time of day. So I have go to sleep teas, for example, which is the egg custard tart tea, and it's very milky and comforting and vanilla-y, and that's a winder downer. And then we have full-on wake-up teas, and then we have teas that go beautifully with cake. Earl Grey goes very well with cake, and so on. So I would suggest trying some new ones to broaden your repertoire. We even have a Christmas tea. We have apple pie tea, which is here. Normally you'd have to spend a whole bunch to get the whole lot, but I'll break them down if you just want one tin for a £5. These make marvellous stocking fillers. Just to come back to my all aboard, Auntie Jane from the English People Tea Company. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. That is it. That's the end. And the end. We hand over to Brian. Please, Brian.
Jane, despite all that, I think I'm going to stick with my PG tips.
Be like
Yes, there are three I liked.
Did you hate all the others?
Well, Matt, yours are very good, but you don't need the points, sorry. Tina always seems to so much what you do, which is so easy. But I've decided, I have made a decision, is, what shall I do? James, maybe I'll James. Sorry, James. Insurance is so important, isn't it? You want to claim in the aggression insurance, say, no, sorry, no. So, James, thanks for all that information. It's very, very good. And it's not very far to go.
I'm not seeing that's based on more geography than that.
I'll try and nip my cards up.
Brian, thank you very much. Well done, James. Right. So, that definitely brings it to an end. We move on. The first step afterwards is always the meeting secretary's report.
Not a terrific amount to announce today, other than 10 of those so far. And on these, among other things, just over £48,000.
Most of that, Matt?
Most of that is on one referral, kind of 40 plus of it is online. Nevertheless, it's all still vitally important to get all of that in and record those stats. Well done, thank you. And it wasn't that.
Excellent, that's great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Right. This time next week, if we were here, we would have a synergy team report for the synergy team meeting that's coming up afterwards, which Jane will stick her hand up at the end and tell us all about. So we move on to the 10-minute presentation. Ben?
Thank you very much.
So can I just stop you?
Yeah.
Diaper poultry is just
Every week.
Chicken in a nappy. Right, sorry.
So, thanks for that image. Okay, so before I introduce today's speaker, just to give you an update on upcoming speakers for the next few weeks and next year as well. So next week on the 30th of November, obviously Toby will be doing the 10 minutes, and Scott, we've got you down for your education slot then. 7th of December, David will be doing his first 10-minute presentation, and Stuart got you down for the ed slot that day. The 14th of December, the last one for us of the year, we've got our Christmas special, but as Aidan said, and Scott said last week, that is our Secret Santa Day, so make sure that you bring a present, a Secret Santa, but if you want to receive one basically, because you're not going to get one unless you bring one for somebody else, so we're going to be giving out Secret Santas, and yes. And I'll be doing the end slot that day. Then we've got a 2-week break for Christmas, and then we'll be back on the 4th of January with Scott kicking us off in style with the 10 minutes, and I'll be doing the end slot that day, and then Matt will have you down for the 11th of January. And Jane will have you down for the end slot if you're here.
Yes,
it's not till the 11th of January, so you've got a good few weeks yet. So when it is your turn to do the 10 minutes, please go to the website and download the bio sheet and get it to me a day or two beforehand. And if you can't do your presentation or the ed slot for whatever reason, please let me know as soon as possible so we can do our best to try and swap things around. And just bear in mind that it's 8 minutes for a presentation and 2 minutes if you would like any questions. So on to today's speaker. Today we have the lovely Clara from Downton Mortgages and Financial Services, of which she's the owner and mortgage advisor. Now, the nature of the business is mortgages and insurance, based in Bishop Stortford, but will work UK-wide. So, a couple of things about Clara. So, an unusual instance, being licked by a cheetah. Not the most enjoyable sensation. How Clara relaxes dancing. But there's going to be more on that a bit later, including a little video. Favourite movie is The Shawshank Redemption. So clever, idyllic ending, and a story of true grit and determination. I've never seen it. I've never seen that, or Die Hard, I've never seen it. So I'm going to have to watch Shawshank Redemption now and Die Hard at Christmas. Yeah. Definitely there too. Watch them all. Yeah. So, and then finally, an excellent thing Clara has done, had the pleasure of being at a garden party at the Palace So although she didn't actually get to speak to the Queen, she really enjoyed the experience and the whole spectacle of it all. So for the first time in EBF, please put your hands together and welcome the lovely Clara Downton.
Thank you very much. So yeah, today is going to be a little bit more about me. I won't expand on all of those points, but yeah, giving you a little bit more of a taste of me, and then we'll touch on mortgages and protection at the end. So a little bit about me. So I grew up in Bishop Stortford. We moved there when I was 1, so I'm almost born and bred, but not quite. I have 3 siblings, an older sister, a younger sister, and my baby brother, who's also Shannon's husband, that you'll have all met before. I went to school in Bishop Stortford, and then I moved to London to go to university. So I graduated from London Guildhall University with a BA in Business Studies, and I focused on finance. I wasn't quite sure where I wanted to go with it until I did my placement year, which I ended up at the Bank of New York, and discovered that I liked the city. I got a job at UBS Investment Bank, and I worked there for a few years, and then I decided I needed to travel, so I took 10 months off and I travelled around Africa and South America. Definitely one of the best things I've ever done. Amazing experience. And when I returned to the UK, I decided to live in Stortford rather than returning to live in London, because I couldn't afford to buy anything in London. I then commuted to work. I worked at Merrill Lynch, HSBC, RBS until 2010, and then I took a role managing operations for a consulting firm. I ended up managing their global operations across the UK, India and the US in a massive part of their business, and loved it, but ended up managing people more than doing the job, and decided that actually I quite liked actually doing the job, and managing people wasn't quite so fun for me. So I decided I needed a new challenge, moved to a business management role, but decided that that wasn't right either. So I started to really think about what did I want to do with my life in work, and decided mortgages. So crazy, I know. So that's the kind of key of how I got here. So key themes in my life, I'll give you space, is my family, financial services, dancing, which you can see me dancing there with my partner, and travel. So I've travelled quite extensively in both the time that I did my travels in my 20s, but also kind of over the years. And I'm hoping to potentially travel a bit more with my dancing next year if I can, because there's a big dance competition out in out in Bangkok, and we're hoping that we might get out there. So those are some of the things that I like to do. So now, running my own business has been rewarding but challenging. Dancing has become a bigger focus as I've started competing. We did Blackpool earlier on this year, which was very exciting, and Wales a couple of months ago. Dancing on that dance floor that you'll have all seen on Strictly was quite exciting, and it really does bounce. And I love time with the family. My younger sister lives out in Dubai, so try and sort of get together as a family as often as we can. So Christmas is always a key time because we all actually manage to get together. And I still try and travel as much as I can. I think I'm on 5 countries this year. So a taste of my travel and how many countries have I been to. So you can all have a sort of think about how many you think that is. I haven't actually bought a prize, but if anyone gets it spot on, then I might have to come up with something.
7. No, 8.
What was that, 7?
7 photos. 42.
It's 8. It's actually 8 photos.
8. One of them's on the
So this
photo.
was Ethiopia, which I would highly recommend. That's Lalibela, where they dug into the ground the churches, so you come at roof level because they're literally here out of the rocks, which is pretty awesome. And if you've never been to Ethiopia, highly recommend that one. This was in the DRC, where I went to see the mountain gorillas. He did charge at me, and I had to keep very, very calm and walk slowly backwards. These are cheetahs, but not the one that licked me. That was in a small enclosure where they were sort of being recuperated, so they were quite tame. But yeah, that's a little bit of a taste of kind of my travels. Did we have any other shout outs on the number of countries?
42.
9. 33. 31.
36. 53.
Closest yet.
62.
A little over. I'm 58.
Before she said
Just ahead of me. So, yes, a little bit about the business. How long have I got left?
2.5 minutes.
Oh, perfect. And the profit's better. So yeah, a little bit about the business. As you've met before, this is Shannon and myself, and we are the business. I started the business on my own, and after a couple of years realised that trying to do everything yourself is challenging. So brought in Shannon, who had been in group insurance for the previous 10 years and needed a change and was relocating back to Bishop Stortford. So decided that was the right time for me, so she helps me with all the administrative tasks that I need to do on the mortgage side, but also talking about protection with clients so that we can kind of offer a full service to people. So that's kind of us. And then, so mortgages, as I've kind of mentioned on many occasions, we do all sorts of things. I love helping first-time buyers and talking them through options and things that they can do. Looking at people moving home and working out what they can do with porting and moving their mortgage with them, or different options of how much they can raise and different ways that they can do things. Looking at remortgages, which obviously at the moment is a key area. Product transfers, where you stay with your existing lender but just get a new rate with them. Retirement interest only. As I've mentioned before, I do equity release, so lifetime mortgages for over 55s, where they want to release equity from their home, either to get rid of a current interest-only mortgage, or if they want to raise funds to help them live. And then buy-to-lets for individuals, limited companies, HMOs, holiday lets, done all of those kind of things. So there's quite a breadth of what I can help with. Just to touch briefly on protection, obviously, we also have another specialist in the room, but this is where I hand over to Shannon to do with clients, because a lot of people, their only real sort of introduction into insurance is when they're getting a mortgage, and a lot of them sort of think, okay, you just have to get life insurance, but there's an awful lot more to it than that. But there's only some that we can do, and if it's more family planning or sort of looking for kind of longer term, then obviously it will be a kind of handover and make sure that all aspects are being looked at. But these are just some of the sort of things that we'll often talk to clients about on the protection side. And then home insurance, making sure that people have buildings and contents cover, landlord's insurance, and making sure that valuable items are kind of covered on their policies. So really sort of we see it as trying to make sure that clients have really got sort of all aspects covered, and they're not just taking a big debt that actually could be vulnerable if something happens in their life. So really it's about the kind of the bigger picture of kind of that step in people's life of property ownership. So yeah, reminder, we have a no obligation chat. I'll work through options. I help clients to make decisions. A lot of people, they come to me and they are in that state of indecision. They just don't know quite what to do. And when you actually kind of walk through everything with people, understand the situation and look at the different options they have, suddenly it frees them to actually make a decision. I do charge $4.99 on application, but that's not where I do a product transfer with people. It's only when they do a new mortgage with me. And I'll work through everything first and give them sort of real value for that service. The insurance side of things, we'll do a free review for people, and if we don't think that we are the right people to help, we will send them to somebody else to look at for them. And if your mortgage rate, or your mortgage rate is expiring in the next 6 months, we can look at the rate at this point when actually they are going down, so it's quite a good point to kind of be locking in, because we can then continuously review, ensure it remains competitive, and amend it where it makes sense. I've got one client at the moment who I'm doing it again this week because rates dropped yesterday, and I think that's the 7th change we've done for them since they locked in. But it just shows that actually then you know your worst case point, and then you can move forward with all of that. So that is me done. Thank you. That's Shannon's dog, by the way. It's our kind of corporate one. That's it.
Questions, please? Yes.
Hi, Clara. Thank you very much. Does that, your work, only apply to the UK, or can it stretch to other countries as well?
So I can work with expats. So, like at the moment, I'm helping my sister to buy a buy-to-let property in the UK. So I can do that kind of thing. But I can't actually help people buy in another country. So if they wanted to buy, say, in the UK, they would have to go to a loan broker for that. Right.
All right. As far as making referrals to your concern, I take it from what you've said that a referral to you, they can phone up and have a chat without obligation, without cost.
Absolutely. What I tend to do is I'll have a sort of initial chat with people, 15-20 minutes, and just kind of get the overall picture of them, what they're looking to do, you know, what sort of are the highlights of them, and then I'll follow up with an email which gives all the information about me, my fees and everything else, and gives them an outline of what I would need in order to really assess the position in detail. And I give them a secure folder that they can put everything in and kind of leave them to then work through everything and get all that information to me. Then when I get everything, then I do my full review, so I'll look across the different options, give them the kind of picture as to where I think they can be, so what their borrowing might be, what options I see based on where they currently are. And then sometimes you leave people with that and they'll come back after, you know, a month or two or 6 months or a year and kind of work almost iteratively with you as they kind of work through getting to it. Other times, literally the next week, you're putting in a mortgage application for them. Sometimes they think it's going to be a year, and then when you actually tell them they can do what they want to do, it all happens very quickly. And then we work to get a decision in principle with the best option for them, and then it's only when I put in the full application that any of my fees are due. So generally people have seen a huge amount of work before we'll ever get to that phase.
Do you ever get involved in commercial lending?
I prefer commercial lending. I'm in Ireland to get involved in bridging because I actually end up getting quite a few inquiries about it. So I can do that if I wanted to. I haven't traditionally, but I'm considering it in the current climate because more and more people are kind of looking at that. But no, other than the kind of buy-to-let, kind of limited companies, those kind of things, no, I don't do commercial.
Are you in a kind of network or whole of market independent, or how does it work? Can you access?
It's actually the $1 million question. So I am part of a network which provides all of my compliance for me, and they have a panel of lenders which I can access. And actually, I can potentially access more lenders sometimes than some of the smaller independent people can because the network has a panel. However, I am sort of limited to their panel, but if there is an option that I think is better for a client, then I can just request to go off panel, and then I can actually go with a lender that even isn't in their panel. So I'm not really restricted at all, but they prefer me to use the panel where I can, but yeah, if there's a better option for a client that takes me away from that, which I actually only did the other week, then that's perfectly acceptable, and there's no restrictions on me other than to say, this is why I think it's the right thing for the client, and they will come back and say, approved, please proceed. So I'm pretty wide, but I think there's 72 lenders on the panel, so it's a pretty wide panel in the first place of high street and specialist lenders. So yeah, that's that.
Anybody else? No. All right, thank you very, very much.
Pleasure.
Right, the referrals and testimonials. testimonials round. We start as usual in the naughty corner with Paul and move round.
Yeah, well done, Ben. Thank you for that. And thank you. It was really nice to sort of hear about your personal history. So thank you. Thank you, Bonnie, for Howard.
Well done, Clara. First out the way. That's for Matt. Got a reason to be on this team after this.
Thanks, Carl. Congratulations on getting your first presentation.
Thank you.
That's out of the way. Very good. Thanks, Ben, for your whatever it was you said. Yeah, I've got another referral for Dave at Mercury, which I'll send through to him. So, yeah, do some work for us next week as well. Thank you.
Great. Words of wisdom.
That's what's
That's nice.
That's why you're
We've had a chat this week. You sent me an email. You're really clear, concise, brilliant. So yeah, I think we will be moving forward.
Brilliant.
Which is very good. I have a referral from Mike. Next year, photo shoot. I'll chat to you. And referral for Scott. This one I've not actually told you about yet. Another one as a result of the meeting that I had at the end of the day yesterday. E-commerce site could be a biggie. Lovely to see you all.
Great 10 minutes far. Everyone loves the mortgage advisor.
Obviously.
Yourself, we have loved ones, friends, and a great I had a great one-to-one with Melissa, beginning of the month. I haven't done the paperwork yet, so if you can pass that over to Mel. We talked about all kinds of stuff, didn't we? Good for you, good for me. I have a referral for Dave at Mercury. He's not here, so no need to walk around. I'll catch him later. And I look forward to seeing you all next week.
Excellent presentation, thank you for that. Happily mortgages are behind me now. Good meeting, and I'll see you next week.
Clara, depressingly, I'm 45 countries behind you at the moment. And that includes Wales, and I didn't know whether I could count that. One-to-one with Neil last week where he invited me back for food and made his wife cook it, but it was food. One-to-one with Ben, was kind. And listen, this is someone I gave you a number a while ago. I want to catch up at the end just to see what happened with that one, because he's a... Sorry? You haven't heard of him? Okay. Probably a good thing. In a weird way. Yeah, I'll see you next week.
Great presentation, Harry. Currently helping me with mine, but builders are I hear your education slot. I tried to listen. I did listen, really. I didn't bring a pen, so I didn't do any activity reports, but thanks for the money for Scott. I'm not going to stand right now. I do. Thanks for the money for Scott. Yeah, great meeting. Continue through.
Excellent presentation, thank you very much. Really enjoyed that. Thank you, Blake. So I'll stop and fill up there. Just that one.
At least you did your paperwork.
Of course. Matt, probably not technically a referral, that we spoke about, so back as a reminder, social media audits. I've got some really technical analysis and audit tools. We need to talk about that. I might be able to add a string to a variable. One-to-one with Blake and John at the weekend, accounts. Thank you to money for ex-member Joe Jones, ex-member Waterwise Plumbing, ex-member David Plumley, and to the
I'm impressed by your devotion to exercise, and you're always going to the back of the room and then
Gets me lost there.
Good introduction, Tony. Well done. And as far as making notes, I have to in order to do the blog. This week there were 2 comments on the blog only. You don't have to read it. Do the what's it? Right. Thank you all for really making it.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, really good, very clear, very precise, and very, very knowledgeable. And we've got no worries in recommending anybody to.
Bye, Vince.
But yeah, no, so well done. Yeah, really good. And a one-to-one there with James, and we've got. Thank you for the money for Neil. Gave you a referral on Tuesday and it was done last night. So yeah, all done and dusted. And a one-to-one with yourself. Yeah, good. You forgot it there. So. But no, brilliant. Well done. Won't be here next week because I'll be in my thing in Turkey. Not going for new hair or new teeth or anything. So going for a seminar. So, yeah. Won't be here next week, so we'll see you the week after. Yeah, come back and I'll have more hair than and teeth out here, you know, next week. But yeah.
Really good excellent. Really good 10 minutes. I'll be in touch and review regarding the mortgage and that. I've got a referral for Terry, but I'll let you know. It's tomorrow. I'll see you all next week.
Yeah, fantastic 10 minutes, and pretty good one time with you a little while ago, and I'll also be in touch about mortgages in the near future. Then I've got a referral from you, but prior to that, your exit slide left me a little bit conflicted, because it was pointed out that, listening is active and hearing is passive. Yeah.
Wade said that.
Yeah, that's the way he added to it, yeah. Wesley Snipes in White Men Can't Jump said that I could listen to Jimi Hendrix, but I couldn't hear Jimi Hendrix. So I'm not sure where Just a referral to Ben, I don't know if anyone else knows about it, but my cousin has just been a care teacher or care for children for most of her life and suffers from long-COVID quite badly at the moment and has been forced into retirement because of it, but is not going to get any sickness retirement because long-COVID hasn't been proven to be a lifetime thing yet, even though she can't get upstairs or anything with it. So I might recommend an option.
You have a very quick chat. Thank you.
Great meeting, fantastic 10 minutes, Carol. Thank you very much for that. Request for a one-to-one with you, which I think is fine. We'll get that in place. I did have a one-to-one with Nick, it was fantastic, and I've already recorded it. Thank you for the money to Terry, who's not here. Client is that I'm helping. Yeah, great meeting. I hope to see you next week.
Great, Esquire. Thank you very much. Clara, fantastic for your first time. Really good, enjoyed that. Scott, the online forms, we're still not able to get into them other than through incognito mode?
Mine was working again.
I just tried my maybe that's what it is. Right, I'll try the computer. Right, what have I got here? Glasses. James, quote for a new buy-to-let property, please, I'll get you the details. It's right next to Hadrian's Wall. Very nice. And thank you for the money for Sarah Steele. And I'll be here next week, but I won't be here after that. I've already said Happy Christmas to Ben, so anybody who's not here next week, Happy Christmas to you.
Great meeting. Thanks Ben for your egg slot. Really good 10 minutes. We had a chat the other day. I can highly recommend Clara. She's very helpful and very informative. So thank you very much. See you all next week.
So well done for starting us off exactly in the right thing. I loved all the interruptions and the
I'm glad you did.
the irony. No, well done. Clara, very competent. We knew we were in safe hands from the moment we started. And this is recording a thank you for the money from you. May I put that there? Thank you very much. And Leanne, can I grab 2 minutes after, please? Thank you very much.
Right. What?
Say, Carl,
Have you got anything to say before you come and make the draw for the...
Well, no, but thank you very much. It's been great, and I have had a few one-to-ones, and I've got a few more scheduled in. So yeah, very happy to chat to people. Thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
I'm going from today. That one there. And who is it from? It is from James.
I lost my chance as well.
Yes. Have you got health insurance?
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Clara, for running and drawing and as well as your 10 minutes. We're just about there. I'm very pleased to say it's been, since it started getting sunny, it's been nice and sunny, so I'll be sending you on your way to a nice sunny day, but before I do, Matt!
I forgot to ask you a question, Carl. Who is your favourite dancer on Strictly?
Very important.
Probably Ellie. I think she's done really, really well. She's one of the ones who's come from not really doing anything to actually being quite popular. So yeah, I think she would be my favourite.
Never watched it. I was rather hoping you would say I've never seen it.
Who's Ellie?
She's from the zone. Probably wouldn't know her.
And it's 44, I forgot Egypt. So it's only 44.
You didn't ask what Strictly was, did you?
Unfortunately, I know.
Don't worry. Anybody else? Joe?
Can I just remind you, the back corner just there is your next location. If you can join us for the Synergy meeting, and the topic is what you wish you'd known about business before you entered it, or you started your own business.
Right. Anybody else? Anybody else? Going. Right. It's been nice to see you all today. Good turnout. Well done, everybody. Hope you will repeat that turnout for next week, and I look forward to seeing you on your way and have a good week.